Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Now we are going to discuss one of the most important thing in Kotlin Coroutine, which is CoroutineScope. We have various types of CoroutineScope in our Android or in our Kotlin Coroutine. We have global scope, we have main scope, lifecycle scope, and view model scope. A coroutine scope is a context that manages our coroutine's lifecycle. All the coroutine that you were launching using a scope, it get cancelled when the scope is cancelled. So let's discuss all of the scopes that we have. So we have here main function, and in this main function I'm gonna use return type unit, run blocking, and in this run blocking I'm using global scope. So global scope launch, the life cycle of your global scope is tied up with your application life cycle. And in this global scope I just want to produce delay of 200 millisecond, and just after this I'm using print ln. This is last line, and at the end I'm gonna sleep my thread for 1 second in order to complete this execution. So execute it. Here you can see this is a last line. So global scope lifecycle is totally tied up with your application lifecycle. It lives till your application live, and once the application is destroyed, eventually all of the coroutine that you were launching using global scope is automatically got cancelled. So this is what global scope is, and it is not highly recommended because sometimes it leaves memory and it encourages the memory leak. So due to that reason you will not see global scope in most of the projects. So this is what we have with global scope. Now let's discuss main scope. So let's say you want to perform some kind of operation which is related to user interface. So this kind of operation you can perform using main scope, because main scope is eventually uses main thread, and if you are using main thread you can touch UI and you can perform task with your user interface. So for that I'm gonna use that main scope in my main activity, because my activity contains user interfaces. So I'm using a delegation CoroutineScope by main scope. Now you can use this main scope within your own create. Just use here launch. Now this launch uses main scope, and if you want to cancel all of your coroutine, so for that you can use on destroy, and in this on destroy you can use cancel. So it automatically cancel all of the coroutine that you are creating using this main scope. So let me just import it properly. There we go. This is what we have. So if you want to perform any kind of UI operation, you can use this main scope. Let's discuss lifecycle scope. So that lifecycle scope is automatically coming within our activity, and it is coming from our Android X.activity package or dependency. Remove it. Next we have lifecycle scope. So this lifecycle is totally tied up with our activity lifecycle. So when your activity got destroyed, all of the coroutine that you were launching using this lifecycle scope is also got destroyed or cancelled. Similarly, for fragments we have lifecycle scope, and that lifecycle scope is tied up with fragment lifecycle. So this is the difference between lifecycle scope in activity and lifecycle scope in fragment. So if you want to perform any kind of UI operation, you can go with main scope, and if you want to perform anything which is not related to UI, you can go with lifecycle scope. By the way, if you want to perform some operation and after that you want to update your user interface, you can use with context, switch the thread, and then update your user interface. So it's totally up to you. So we saw global scope, we saw main scope, we saw lifecycle scope. Now we are going to discuss about ViewModelScope. Well, ViewModelScope is something which is related to our view model. Its lifecycle is totally tied up with our view model lifecycle. So let me just show you. So for that I'm gonna create here a class my view model and extend this thing with view model, and in this I'm using init block. We have ViewModelScope dot launch. So this ViewModelScope is totally tied up with our view model lifecycle, and once our view model got destroyed, all of the coroutine that you were launching using this ViewModelScope is automatically got destroyed. So this is what we have with CoroutineScope. So we saw global scope, main scope, lifecycle scope, and ViewModelScope. Now we are going to discuss one more, which is a custom CoroutineScope. Let's say I want to create a custom CoroutineScope. So for that, let me just comment this thing out. I'm gonna create a job. import this. Now I want to create a scope, so you can use custom CoroutineScope. In this we have to pass a context. So CoroutineContext contains few elements like job, dispatchers. So you can pass your job plus the dispatcher, I mean the thread which you want to use this scope. So we have here dispatcher. Let's say I want to use here main. So you can perform your operation, and after that you can simply use your scope dot cancel to cancel all of your coroutine that you are launching using this scope. So we have 5 different types of CoroutineScope and we saw one by one. So that's it for this video. I think you got the CoroutineScope concept and also you got everything that we have with this CoroutineScope, like global scope, main scope, lifecycle scope, ViewModel scope, and CoroutineScope, which is a custom one. We will meet in our next video where we will discuss something new about Kotlin coroutine. Till that, goodbye.